Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to Christmas in July. Today we're going to go ahead and do the inside of the little bag that we use to make our book. And we may work on a few signature sheets of paper to go in, but as it stands right now, we'll probably just do the inside, and then tomorrow or the next day we will do the embellishing and stuff. So first, I'm going to use this yellow sheet. And what I want to do is I want it to go over both sides just a slight amount. So like right here, it doesn't have to be, pretty or even. But if you want it to be pretty or even, that's definitely up to you. I do recommend you use your fabric scissors if you have some. If not, your hands will work just as well. But I do want to start off a little tear, and then if you just rip it, it rips straight. So we ripped it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these flies, these loose strings, and we're going to go ahead and glue it down. You don't have to do this part since we're not really um, we're not like being extra. This is a book. This is just some sheets of paper, but I wanted to just do this. I rarely do this on any of my projects, so yeah. And I'm going to cut this down just a little bit right here. You don't have to cut it down. I'm just cutting it down. And now I'm going to use some fabric glue, if I can find it with ease. Where I said I do more than just crafting that, I also make other types of content, and so I have to make it nice and neat for my keyboard to sit up here. So my keyboard is usually here when I'm not crafting, and then on the other side I have my monitor, not my monitor, my computer is on a base, and I try to have a happy compromise that looks somewhat decent, and it always ends up looking like a mod podge of nonsense, if you ask me. All right, let me get the glue. I know I've said this before. I'm not endorsing any one company. I'm not faithful to one company. I like a lot of them. Normally, my professional go-to scissors, I will always say that I like Fiskars. I think I like that they stand behind their product a lot. But these scissors come from Michaels. It's called the Loops and Threads. And if you know, Michaels has they have yarn with that title. They probably have other things with the title, but those scissors are really nice. I thought they were my little cheap scissors I had got, but they're not. They're the real deal. So right now we're going to go ahead and put this glue right here. And we're using our 3-in-1 glue. Hopefully it's not dried out because my top had broke. Oh no, it's like, well, yes, we get to do something. It's just going to take forever to get down there. All right, so I'm just going down the spine. This is where it could get messy because you really need to make sure that the glue is all over where you need to be and not like a little loopy loop like I normally do. So I'm gonna take my finger. So funny, I got rid of my paper towels that I usually have. Like I used to keep like a little thing for messes, and we're just gonna put a little sliver right here, a little sliver right there. All right, so we're gonna put this here. I'll leave this turned over, and I'm gonna. Oh, it dried really fast, really, really fast. It's not sticky either. I'd probably do better with Fabri-Tac, but I don't have Fabri-Tac at my desk. Okay, the spots that we put the glue in is adhering very nicely. But we want it to adhere all the way, so let's go. I didn't think the glue would be that quick to dry. Normally it's not that, it doesn't dry that fast, so it's like I don't want to perform right now. All right, there we go. Well, you're on. It's time for you to shine. 3-in-1. This 3-in-1 glue, I don't remember where I bought it from, but it wasn't. I was shocked that it wasn't that expensive, but it's not super cheap either. It's not like $1.99 like some of the other glues that I tell you about, like the Aleene's Tacky Glue. All right, so I'm just gonna do this really quickly. This is just me being me, just like that. All right, there we go. You see it folds over really nicely. We will have a little bit of a controversy because I'm going to put down a spine sheet of paper first, and then I'm going to put 2 sheets over here, and it's going to have to cover up almost exactly over. So we'll see how that works out for me. We may not. We'll see. Because this looks good. It could be gold. So it's not a huge major deal. But later on it could come into effect that I have, like I'll be like, I don't know why I did this. All right, so let's get the paper. All right, so you remember this. Yeah. I've seen this before. If you haven't, I've used this in multiple occasions. This is some Christmas wrapping paper with songs and stuff on it. So hymnals for Christmas. Silent Night, The Holy and the Ivy. I don't know what this other song was, but it's all like randomly placed, and the paper looks like this, vintagey. So I thought this would be a good starting spot, and then we maybe, if I got desperate enough, I would put a layer on top of this. But this would be definitely in the spine like that. But since it's semi a makeshift spine, a makeshift situation, I needed to be able to see where I wanted to cut this at. So this one is going to go over. So it's going to have like 4 or 5 reinforcements. So we got our line right here. And now this one I had measured out. I measured at 6 1/4 and 4 3/4. But I think that I want to just make sure it looks decent. This paper doesn't measure what I just mentioned to you, but that's the measurements of the inside of the spine. So we wanted to have a little bit of this craft color showing, just a scotch, because this side, remember, we had an issue on the other side. So I'm just sliding it down some, and I think we're going to cut it right here, and we're going to cut this one like right there. And since I cut the paper really weird, wonky, we're going to do the same thing with this side. Okay, so you see we got right here and right there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these down, and let's see if I did a decent job. All right, I think I cut it pretty decently. Now we're just going to take our centerpiece and glue, 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 glue. I don't think I need to use my finger again on that piece, but we'll see. I do have a little thing that I use to, smear it down, so we should be good. do y'all think about movies that Hollywood remake? Do you enjoy those? Or do you say leave the classics as classics? I don't even know how I feel about reboots of the same show with the same characters that performed it. They're just like more mature. I remember I had watched a show and it went off the air and then they came back like 10 years, 5 years later is what the thing was or something like that. It was okay. It wasn't like something that I was like, oh yeah, I think this is great. But like every 5 year, a special would be fine, I think, for me. But not a actual reboot or remake. Some shows are okay as remakes, but not all of them. Not all of them. So this crease, as you can see, it has folded up right here. And I'm not upset about it. I knew it was going to happen. So it's folding up. So I'm just going to work this glue in a little bit. All right, so I went ahead and glued this side down. Of course, because I cut it a little bit off, it is wonky, but I am going to tell you that there are many ways to fix a good old-fashioned boo-boo. You could restart the project if you wanted to. I am beyond it's just paper though, so that will not be happening. At the end of the day, it's still just paper, but I've invested some time. You've watched the whole video, etc., etc., etc. We will not be restarting it. Nicholas is crying for food. It is not his time to eat, but he's greedy. We're just gonna leave it like that. But I think what I will do on top of putting all this paper on here and making all this bubbles, I may come back and throw some lace around the edges if I feel uncomfortable with how it looks at the very end. But I don't think I'm not upset about this project as of yet. And the reason why I say I'm not upset about it as of yet, because I could do something really silly on this side, right? But what I did is when I made the crease right here, I made sure not to put any glue on that crease because you don't want to have to work that glue in that crease. You want the glue to not be in a crease. Just makes your book harder to fold over. So I'm just going to work the spine a little bit right here. And there we go. All right, and so we're just going to repeat it. And I'll show you how I did that on this side. I think this was supposed to be over here, but it's okay. I'm only slightly disappointed in this cutting. So now I'm going to rummage through the leftovers and see. I think I can put this one here because I like that it's a whole piece, so let's cut that down. All right, we got that page cut down. Now we're just going to come right here. It's not glue. No glue is on it yet. So see right here, we're going to leave this open still. That side, we're not going to put any glue on the crease. I usually have problems with my creasing, my books with the creases. So I've learned, watched a few videos to see what the professionals have said and do. I think if I had taken another piece of fabric, and we'll try this, to lay some fabric on top of the fabric, it might not have done that, but the paper will buckle because it's paper. And even though you can manipulate paper, I think a loose flowing piece of fabric is a lot easier to adjust than paper would be. We still want it to look like we know what we're doing. You see that those edges? Yes, there we go. I'm excited about that. This month is almost over. Can you believe that? We will not be having no Christmas in August, and I don't know. I've thought about it, but I can't give you Crater because school starts back in August, and I don't know how the little guy's going to really adjust going back. Because I don't have a curfew bedtime for him yet because it's summertime, and if he stays up, he stays up. Although the other day he stayed up really, really late, and we had to go somewhere, and he was so grumpy, grumpy, grump. And so I told him, I said, if you go to bed on time, when I tell you to, because I do tell him, okay, it's bedtime, it's time to go to bed. When I tell you to go to bed, if you go to bed, you won't have to worry about that. So lately he's been going to sleep and not worrying about waking up all grumpy. Now, why didn't she fold it that way? I don't know what I was thinking. It's okay. Smooth these creases out. Just work the middle. I probably should have put some glue on it, the middle piece, and glued that down first. But it's okay, I promise. It's okay. I've seen a lot of professionally done books that have the same bowing effect. All right, that is that for today. This took a lot out of us. Me. And it's sturdy, so we're going to let this dry. And then we'll come back and we'll work on our signatures. I have a cool, I can't say it's a cool idea, but I have a few thoughts that I think are pretty decent. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to take something and keep it folded like this so my creases can crease properly. If you have a binder clip, which I do have one, I don't know where it's at right now, but we'll just use our paper clip really quick for now. And we'll let this sit for a while today, and then we'll come back tomorrow or Sunday and work on this. Let me just check my calendar real quick. Yeah, we have time because I think this month has 31 days in it, so we have plenty of time. The next time we'll be working on signatures pieces. Yep, so that is what we've done today. We did the inside of our junk journal. So thank you for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.